Are you over 50 and planning to settle down for retirement in Florida? Stop for 5 minutes, because within the next 12 months, 5 famous cities in Florida could cost you between $50,000 and $100,000 if you buy at the wrong time. This is a silent crisis. Home prices are falling fast, insurance has jumped to nearly $6,000 a year, taxes have risen by almost 45% since 2019, and natural disasters are becoming more violent. Thousands of older homeowners have already put their savings on the line, and they're now paying the price. In this video, I'll clearly show the 5 cities most at risk of sharp price declines by 2026, and the warning signs you need to recognize right now before it's too late. No theory, no fear-mongering, just truth, numbers, and practical advice made for you. And if you still think Florida is a retirement paradise, stay until the end, because you're about to discover a truth no one in the real estate industry wants you to know. 5. Cape Coral, Florida. Waterfront paradise, insurance nightmare. One September afternoon in 2022, when Hurricane Ian slammed into southwest Florida, tens of thousands of residents in Cape Coral watched as the canals that once symbolized the city's charm, more than 400 miles of waterways cutting through residential neighborhoods, where many retirees dreamed of paddling out to the Gulf every morning, suddenly turned into giant water slides. The houses by the canal, waves at the door, boats at the dock, became scenes of flooded streets, uprooted trees, and washed away hopes. That image still haunts many older residents who once saw this place as their paradise to retire in. More than 2 years after the disaster, Cape Coral is no longer the shining gem of real estate many once believed it to be. Data from Redfin shows that as of September 2025, the median home price in Cape Coral is around $360,000, down 4% year over year, marking 12 declines in the past 13 months. In addition, major outlets like the Wall Street Journal have called this the worst housing market in America, as more than 8% of homeowners owe more than their homes are worth. A clear sign of a bursting bubble. But price drops are only the tip of the iceberg. Cape Coral's market is nearly frozen. Each home takes an average of 84 days to sell, and many receive only one offer. For older buyers who don't have much time or risk tolerance, this is a serious warning. Poor liquidity, further price declines ahead, and rising carrying costs. Mr. Tom, 68, a former tech engineer from Michigan, decided to sell his home and retire in Cape Coral in 2021. He bought a canal front house for $415,000, thinking he was making a quick, smart move for a life of water, boats, golf, and sun. But just a year later, his insurance bill shot up to $6,500 a year, and then to $8,200 the next. By the time he tried to sell in 2025, for sale signs were everywhere in his neighborhood. Some homes had cut prices by $40,000 and still found no buyers. He sighed, "I came here to enjoy my retirement. Now I count every dollar each month because insurance is up, taxes are up, and the market is frozen. I wonder, did I pick the wrong place?" For older adults living on fixed pensions or savings, paying an extra few $1,000s a year for insurance and taxes, along with declining home values, is a real burden. Across Florida, the average homeowner's insurance has reached about $5,300–$5,400 per year for a $300,000 home, nearly double the national average. In Cape Coral, because it lies in a high-risk hurricane and flood zone, some reports show premiums exceeding $7,000–$8,000 a year. On top of that, property taxes in Lee County have risen by roughly 45% since 2019. For older residents, this isn't just buying a home to live, it's a risky equation. We can't ignore the environmental and disaster factors. the elements that make Cape Coral even more vulnerable. According to Realtor.com data, 100% of property value in the Cape Coral-Fort Myers area lies in zones exposed to extreme wind risk, and about 48% of assets face severe flooding threats. The canals, trees, and waterfronts, once a selling point, have now turned into risk meters. When water rises, when storms hit, the chances of heavy damage increase. However, Cape Coral still has undeniable strengths. Its healthcare system is well rated, with hospitals such as Lee Health, Cape Coral Hospital, Gulf Coast Medical Center, meeting high-quality standards, crucial for older adults. Transportation is convenient, near Interstate 75. The retirement community is large, the area quiet, and amenities close to the beach, all of which make many still dream of it as a retirement paradise. But when you weigh it all together, home prices falling, insurance and taxes climbing, and natural disaster risks growing, the question becomes, are those comforts really worth the hundreds of thousands of dollars you're spending? Legendary investor Warren Buffett once warned, "You only find out who's been swimming naked when the tide goes out." And now the tide of Florida's housing market is receding, and Cape Coral is one of the first places exposed. If you're considering retiring here, ask yourself, if home prices drop another 10 to 20%, can you handle it? If insurance rises another 20%, will your retirement budget still hold up? If liquidity dries up and you need to sell quickly, will you be stuck? When the answer is not sure, that's the moment you need to pause and think again. Because buying a home now isn't just a decision about where to live. It's a long-term financial commitment that could shape the rest of your retirement years. If you found this information helpful and want to avoid costly mistakes when buying a retirement home, hit the like button, leave a comment with your questions, and subscribe with the bell on so you don't miss upcoming analyses. If you're over 50 and thinking about buying a home in Florida, subscribe now, because one wrong decision could cost you $100,000 and your peace of mind in retirement. Dover, Port St. Lucie, Florida. When the retirement paradise is overshadowed by the weight of rising costs. In June 2025, a Wall Street Journal headline read, "Retirees rethink Florida." And nowhere reflects that sentiment more clearly than Port St. Lucie, once hailed as the new promised land for retirees on Florida's East Coast. But what's causing that shining picture to fade? Let's start with a harsh reality. As of September 2025, the median home price reached $415,000, up 1.2% from the previous year, which sounds stable. But behind that number lies an undercurrent. The average time to sell has stretched to about 88 days, and the market is no longer red hot like it was in 2021-2022. Furthermore, most buyers here were migrants from New York, Massachusetts, and other northern states. But now, many are reconsidering, renting out, or even leaving as living costs climb higher. Janet, 59 years old, who retired early after 30 years as a nurse in Boston, shared on a housing forum, "I thought I'd found paradise. But in my first year here, my home insurance jumped from $3,200 to $5,700. Healthcare and car expenses are higher than I expected. Now I'm wondering, was I too hasty?" This isn't an isolated story. The average homeowner's insurance in Florida is about $5,300 per year, double the national average. And despite Port St. Lucie being less hurricane-prone than Cape Coral or Tampa, insurance companies still don't lower their rates. When you live on a fixed pension or retirement savings, a few $1,000s more per year becomes a massive burden. Property taxes in St. Lucie County, around 0.9%, are also rising in line with home values. Since 2019, property values have increased about 40–45%, meaning tax bills have grown significantly, even if you haven't renovated or expanded anything. And if you're still paying a mortgage with an interest rate of 6–7% as it stands now, the total cost of owning a home here could exceed 30% of your retirement income, a red alert level for anyone over 50. In terms of natural disasters, Port St. Lucie isn't hit by the eye of the storm as often as the west coast of Florida, but it's still within the Atlantic hurricane zone. Storms like Jeanne, 2004, and Irma, 2017, have caused flooding and prolonged power outages in this area. Neighborhoods near rivers, canals, or low-lying zones should pay close attention to the risk of flooding and costly repairs. However, it's undeniable that Port St. Lucie has solid infrastructure. Wide roads, light traffic, and HCA Florida St. Lucie Hospital is highly rated for maternity and orthopedic care. The city also features many retirement-friendly communities, from golf courses and senior clubs to at-home healthcare services. The big question is the city's rapid growth now outpacing what its finances and social infrastructure can handle? When locals are being priced out and newcomers are starting to hesitate, could Port St. Lucie be entering a correction phase? If you're considering buying a home here for retirement, ask yourself, can I still live comfortably if insurance costs rise another 20%? If the market drops 10%, will I be stuck and unable to sell? If interest rates don't fall, can I still afford to keep my home and live comfortably? Port St. Lucie still holds potential, but the dream of retiring here is turning into one of the most complicated financial equations ever. Don't let the calm of this coastal city hide the risks building up day by day. If you only have one chance to choose your retirement destination, would Port St. Lucie be on your list? With home prices that seem stable but insurance, taxes, and living costs rising non-stop, would you take the plunge or walk away? Leave a comment below. Your small opinion might just change someone else's big decision. 3. Punta Gorda, Florida. When a quiet paradise becomes the eye of a housing storm. In September 2025, one figure startled many real estate analysts. The median home price in Punta Gorda dropped by 34.6% year-over-year, one of the steepest declines in all of Florida. This isn't just a number. It's a wake-up call for anyone who still believes that small, peaceful coastal towns are immune to housing shocks. Punta Gorda was once called the city of slow sails, where life moved gently among marinas, waterfront parks, and tranquil golf courses. But that very character, small population, heavy dependence on retirees, and lack of an independent economy, is now becoming its Achilles heel in a volatile market. During and after the pandemic, a wave of speculative homebuyers flooded into Punta Gorda, pushing home prices up to $500,000 in many neighborhoods. But as hurricane insurance costs soared, property taxes climbed alongside home values, and mortgage rates hit 6–7%, investors began to pull out. Homes piled up for sale while buyers tightened their wallets. The result? The market deflated like a bubble. Unlike major cities such as Tampa or Orlando, which can absorb the shock thanks to larger populations and more diverse economies, Punta Gorda relies too heavily on retirees and tourists. This is not a high liquidity market. Once you buy in, selling out isn't easy, especially for high-end coastal properties, which are most vulnerable to storms and rising insurance. Hurricane Ian in 2022 was a turning point. When the Category 4 storm made near-direct landfall in the area, hundreds of millions of dollars in insurance payouts were issued. But the aftermath was brutal. Premiums skyrocketed, especially in zones bordering Charlotte Harbor, where both the Gulf waters and the Peace River can cause severe flooding. According to Realtor.com, Nearly 50% of properties here face major flood risks, and 100% are exposed to extreme wind hazards. Don, 72, a retired Navy officer who has lived in Punta Gorda for over 15 years, said, "I love this city, but this year my home insurance is $8,900. I've never seen a number like that. And they say next year it could hit $11,000 if another hurricane comes. I'm starting to think about moving." Punta Gorda's healthcare infrastructure isn't bad, with Fawcett Memorial Hospital in nearby Port Charlotte. But it doesn't have top-tier medical centers like larger cities do. For most seniors, it's adequate. But if you ever need specialized care or emergency services during bad weather, distance and limited resources are factors to consider. The strengths of Punta Gorda remain its quiet environment, close-knit community, and beautiful coastal scenery. However, the very features that once made it appealing, proximity to the sea, an older population, and a small market, now make it more vulnerable when financial and climate storms hit at the same time. If you're considering Punta Gorda as a retirement or investment destination, remember, this is no longer a place where you can sleep safely through the storm. Behind its peaceful charm lie growing risks, financial, market, and environmental, quietly building beneath the surface. Buying a home in Punta Gorda today isn't just a matter of geography. It's a bet on the future. Each week, I bring you the latest real estate insights, concise, clear, and tailored for older adults. Subscribe today so you don't miss the information that could save you tens of thousands of dollars. 2. Lakeland, Florida. The city between two booms, a gentle trap between Tampa and Orlando. Not everything that's quiet is safe. That statement has never been truer than in Lakeland, Florida, a city nestled right between two real estate giants, Tampa and Orlando. While coastal markets brace for storms, Lakeland seems like a calm observer, steady, peaceful, and precisely because of that, dangerously easy to underestimate. But this isn't the kind of peace worth admiring. It's a sweet trap, where home prices still appear stable, up slightly by 1.0% over the past year, and the market still seems competitive. 2 offers per home, selling after 62 days. However, if you look closely at the financial maps and market trends, Lakeland is entering a quiet downturn, where supply is slowly but surely outpacing demand. The story of Marjorie, a retired teacher from New Jersey who moved to Lakeland in 2022, is a prime example. "I bought for $310,000. They said it would go up to $350,000 within a year. But now my home's value hasn't changed, and my neighbor's house has been on sale for 5 months with no buyers." The reason? Lakeland is a satellite city. Most residents live here but commute to Tampa or Orlando for work. When housing prices in those cities skyrocketed, people flooded into Lakeland as the more affordable alternative. But when interest rates shot up to 6 to 7%, even those affordable buyers began to struggle. Demand fell, while new housing projects kept finishing one after another. The result? Oversupply that no one talks about. Unlike Cape Coral or Punta Gorda, where natural disasters hit directly, Lakeland is facing a different kind of storm, a silent financial one. Property taxes have risen 45% since 2019. Insurance, though cheaper than coastal areas, still exceeds the national average. And this false stability has led many to believe it's a safe place to invest. Lakeland's infrastructure is impressive. Lakeland Regional Health Hospital has nearly 900 beds, 7 specialties rated highly by U.S. News, well-connected highways linking I-4 and I-75, and a full range of major retail and service chains. But that doesn't mean the housing market is equally strong. Lakeland's biggest problem is unsustainable growth in value. With no strong independent economy, no long-term investment capital, and no large-scale tourism industry. This city is like a child standing between two giants, living off their leftovers. When Tampa and Orlando slow down, Lakeland will be the first domino to fall. With about 20% of its population over 65, retirement life here seems ideal. Parks, lakes, churches, and gentle community centers. But seniors are also the most vulnerable when the market adjusts. Home prices may not be rising, but taxes and insurance are a painful equation for anyone on a fixed income. Lakeland may not see prices crash like Punta Gorda, but it's quietly losing real value. If you're considering investing or retiring here, don't be fooled by surface stability. Ask yourself, who's buying? Who will keep buying? And what real value is holding this city up? In a volatile housing market, sometimes the cities without storms are the ones easiest to forget, and the ones that slide the farthest. Chapter 1. Tampa, Florida, the two-faced city, the urban shine hiding a growing anxiety. On August 30th, 2023, Hurricane Idalia swept through the Gulf of Mexico, leaving millions of dollars in damage and hundreds of flooded homes across the Tampa Bay area. Residents here still remember the sight of water rising over bayfront streets and neighborhoods once hailed as retirement paradises. That event was a brutal reminder. Tampa may look modern and vibrant, but it's also deeply fragile. Home prices in Tampa are falling, down 8.7% over the past 12 months, even though the city remains appealing to buyers thanks to relatively fast sales. 57 days. But behind that activity lies a clear bearish trend, as experts describe it. Prices declining, liquidity increasing, but confidence slipping away. Charles, a 67-year-old former engineer who moved from New York to Tampa in 2021, shared his story. "I bought my home for $450,000 in Carrollwood. Now, similar properties nearby are listed at $400,000, and still no one's buying. My insurance costs $600 to $200 a year. I came here to save money, but now it feels like I'm living with a match over a gas tank." That's the reality for thousands of retirees in Tampa. Home insurance costs here are among the highest in Florida. Though down about 20% from the peak, they still hover around $5,000, $6,000 a year, double the national average. On top of that, property taxes have climbed sharply, up roughly 45% statewide since 2019. Older buyers who purchased during the high-interest era, 6 to 7%, are now bearing significant financial strain. In terms of natural disasters, Tampa is the tip of the risk spear. According to Realtor.com data, 100% of properties in the Tampa-St. Petersburg area are exposed to extreme wind risk, and 27.2% lie in zones facing serious flood threats. Although Tampa has invested in flood control systems, the effects of climate change and rising sea levels are creating new pressures. The old saying that Tampa rarely gets hurricanes is no longer true. However, Tampa still boasts one of the strongest healthcare systems in the state. Tampa General Hospital, TGH, ranks number 2 in Florida, with several specialties among the top 50 nationwide. Obstetrics number 6, cardiology section 45. The Advent Health, St. Joseph's, and Moffitt Cancer Center networks form an almost comprehensive healthcare system. For older adults, this is a major advantage. Transportation and amenities in Tampa are also robust. A bayfront streetcar line, extensive bus networks, the I-275 Beltway, and several metro projects underway. Tampa is one of the few cities in Florida that successfully blends nature, beaches, parks, with culture, museums, theaters, professional sports. For retirees, Tampa is an appealing choice for those who want both relaxation and community life. Suburban areas like Carrollwood, West Chase, and Temple Terrace are populated with older residents, offer suitable housing, and maintain strong safety. Clearwater and St. Pete beaches are nearby, and parks like Bayshore BLVD support an active, gentle lifestyle. However, seniors should avoid dense downtown areas or neighborhoods dominated by Airbnb speculation, which were heavily inflated and destabilized during the pandemic. Tampa is a double-edged sword of Florida real estate. Those who manage their finances wisely and understand the local market can still leverage its long-term potential. But anyone who rushes in, underestimates the risks of insurance, flooding, or taxes, can easily get caught in a slow spiral of financial erosion without even realizing it. So, the question is, do you want to live amid the city's glamour, or be swept away by its hidden undercurrents? Tampa is alluring, yes, but you must stay alert to truly thrive here. You don't have to navigate it alone. If you're considering buying a home in Florida within the next 6 to 12 months, here are 3 red flags you must pay attention to before signing. Slow price growth, but longer selling times. This signals a market holding its prices while buyers quietly retreat. Check this. If homes are listed for 60-90 days without selling, it's a warning that a correction may be near. Areas where insurance costs rise faster than home prices. If your homeowner's insurance climbs 20-30% a year, while your home's value only rises 1-2%, you're paying more for risk, not for real value. Homeowners willing to incentivize or slash prices. When you start seeing listings with 10% off in 2 weeks, free transfer fees or closing costs included, it means sellers are trying to exit before the market drops further. Keep these 3 points in mind and use them as your personal filter whenever you tour a home or compare neighborhoods. You've just explored 5 Florida cities most at risk of major price declines through 2026. Each has its own charm, but also very real dangers. Falling home values, skyrocketing insurance, rising taxes, and increasingly severe natural disasters. If you're over 50, don't let Florida's sunshine blind you. Stay alert, plan carefully. Because choosing the wrong place to retire doesn't just cost money. It can affect your peace of mind and health for years to come. Here's my advice for you. Prioritize places with strong healthcare systems, lower natural disaster risk, and manageable insurance costs. Always ask yourself, if my home lost 20% of its value, could I still live comfortably? If the answer is no, think again. Now it's your turn. Which Florida city are you considering? What worries you most about buying a home right now? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone and I'll respond. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell to get new weekly insights. Made especially for people over 50 like you. Choose wisely, live peacefully, and make your golden years truly rewarding.